I posted a picture to my YouTube community page, and it was basically just a behind the scenes look at a simple setup that I use to shoot many of my YouTube thumbnails. When shooting those thumbnails, I'm typically using my Canon 5D Mark III camera. Ooh. So why that camera? Well, I'm a photographer, it's an awesome camera, and I'm really used to using it. But there was one comment on that picture that really got me thinking. And with that, I'm going to show you how to capture really great thumbnail images with just your phone camera. The first thing you're going to want is a good tripod. So it could be one of these, or maybe one of these, or even one of these little baby guys here. It really doesn't matter as long as it holds your phone steady. You're also going to need something to connect your phone to the tripod. I use this one here. It's a Joby Grip Tight Pro phone. Works really, really well. Comes with a standard 1/4 inch 20 mount on the bottom, so it'll connect up to any tripod. The primary reason to use a tripod is just to avoid any kind of camera movement. No matter how steady you think you are at holding that camera, you're still probably moving just a little bit, and that can create some motion blur in your images. Another great reason to use a tripod is for composition. So you can really dial in your composition, get it exactly where you want, and then it's locked down. It's not gonna move. So from shot to shot to shot, you get the same image every single time. So the final piece of the puzzle is we want to use a remote trigger so we don't have to touch the screen to take a picture. When we touch the screen, we could cause a little bit of vibration, and that could give us a bit of a blurry image. So what I do is I use my iPhone headphones, and all I have to do is just press the plus button, so the volume up button, and it takes a picture. Probably one of the most important ingredients in creating a good picture is good light. You need good light. But good light doesn't mean, going out and buying a $1,000 LED panel. Good light is where you find it and where you make it. And it could be as simple as what you see behind me, a simple desktop lamp illuminating my subject. So one of the best sources of light is the natural light that comes in through your windows. Now the best quality of that light is going to be indirect, so either from north-facing windows or through some kind of diffusion. But of course, with everything there are exceptions, and there may be occasions where you want to use that direct sunlight to get some really hard, dramatic shadows. The great thing about light is you don't have to accept it as is. You can bend it and shape it and modify it. You can use a flashlight to create some highlights on your subject, or a headlamp, or maybe a simple cheap LED panel. You can add colored gels for some really cool effects. And something as simple as a tissue can be used to diffuse that light to create a better quality. So really, the options are endless. For the best results from your smartphone camera, I recommend purchasing a dedicated camera app. A dedicated app is going to give you a lot more manual control over focus and exposure and white balance, and many of those apps also shoot raw images. Raw images are great because they are uncompressed, and that gives you a lot more latitude in post to make all sorts of corrections without affecting the quality of that image. Now, the app that I use is called Camera Obscura. It works really well for me. I like the interface, it does a good job, but there's millions of apps out there, so just pick one that best suits your needs. When you have things all set up just the way you want, set your focus on the point of interest and lock it down. Same goes for exposure. Dial in those settings, get it to where you want, and lock it down too. So with focus and exposure locked, things will not change from shot to shot, and you're going to get the best results. Okay, so the final step is to bring our image into some editing software and clean it up and give it a bunch more pop. So the software that I use is called Affinity Photo. Basically, it's a Photoshop clone at a fraction of the price and no subscription. Works really good, and I just love it. So you can see here, this is an iPhone XR shot, and you can also notice that it's quite a bit overexposed. But that's the great part about shooting a raw image. It gives us a bunch more latitude to fix problems in post. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our exposure down. We're gonna bring it down minus 1.5. So that looks pretty good. Boost the black point a bit. We'll bring the brightness up 5%, and then boost the saturation, and then we'll boost the vibrance, a big chunk here too. So now we have a really nice, colorful, poppy image. So now the first thing I like to do is just add a pixel layer here and just do some cleanup. So kind of clean up all these little marks on my spark. So we'll go to our healing brush and I'll just start cleaning up a bunch of these marks.
Okay, so that was kind of a rush job, but you get the idea. I just want to tidy it up a bit and give it a bit more polish. So now what I'm going to do is resize the document. My thumbnails are 1080p, so that's 1920 by 1080. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this document size by 50%. And then I'll just crop it down to the exact size that I want. So 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. And then I'm just gonna move my crop around here to kind of get the exact composition that I want. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna do one final adjustment. Just add a bit of a curve here, and I'm gonna push up the highlights a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull the shadows down to give it a like really contrasty, really poppy image. And then the final bit, I'm gonna take these layers and I am going to compress them, and I'm gonna add a touch of sharpening. So I'm just using a high pass filter, and we'll switch this to soft light. That's basically it. So all you need to do now is add whatever text you want, export it, and you're done.
Well, that's it for this one, guys. I hope that shows you that you don't need a lot of fancy, expensive camera gear to shoot good thumbnail images for your YouTube videos. All you need is your smartphone, a little bit of knowledge, and some creativity too. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.